Welcome back to the grind for a guide on one of my least favorite fights on Path 5 for the Mutant Domination Challenge. Now, this is Red Skull, and we are using Red Magneto in this clip. Now, Red Skull takes much less damage when he's below 1 bar of power. Between 1 to 2 bars of power, he takes, I think, 50% damage. And then above 2 bars of power, he's going to take 25% more damage. Now, usually after the special 1, I can do a single dex there to make the spacing, but I ended up getting hit a lot when I was using Magneto. I did try this fight with Apocalypse, and I had no trouble with the single dex back during the special 1 and the spacing for the heavy attack. So I'm not sure what it is with Magneto's dash that wasn't working for me. But I didn't worry about the damage I was dealing to him or his power that he was at until I was ready to use my special 3, because I wanted to focus more on refreshing my armor break and my prowesses when the time came. Now, you only have to knock the opponent down to refresh your armor up or armor break, but if you have the ability to charge your heavy, then you can refresh it as well. So this is an easy way to keep the armor break going while building to 3 bars of power, is baiting the special 1, dashing back, and then knocking him down with a heavy counter after his special 1. Once you get to 3 bars of power, you're going to want to charge your heavy attack so you can also build up your prowess. And I would reparry at this point to push him to 2 bars of power. I also had 3 out of 3 in the Petrify mastery. I believe it's called Petrify, not Pacify. And once I would get him to 2 bars of power, you would want to just touch him over 2 bars of power and then throw the special 3. With that mastery setup, he's going to take less power while stunned. So while he's stunned, we don't have to worry about him going to 3 bars of power, and we can get the increased damage bonus from the special 3 while he's above 2 bars of power. Now, his special 2 is a bit harder to dex, so you might want to practice it or rely on, or you'll have to just accept that you're going to take some blocked damage. And that's kind of what I did. So I did have to heal up for this fight. So I was using my limited health potions that I had for this run. Most of the fights I just did pop to revives, but I wasn't getting anywhere in this fight with just a 20% health, so I did heal up for this fight, and this was the strategy that I used to do as much damage as I could against Red Skull. And this was by far the worst fight for me on this path. And it can serve to be problematic when he has long animations, and if the AI gets kind of funky, you might lose your armor up or your armor break, and that can make the fight pretty frustrating. Thankfully, he doesn't require to be armor broken, but it helps a lot with the damage, and so I did like to have that on. Pretty soon here, I ended up rushing and to try to refresh the armor break, and it didn't work out for me. And then I ended up pushing him to 3 bars of power with my special 3 to try to squeeze out as much damage as possible. So this wasn't the best run, but it was the clip that I had to share, and it did highlight several things to focus on and several problematic events that could arise. So hopefully it was helpful for you in preparing for this fight. If this is the champion that you're going to be using here, he didn't attack into me, so then the armor break fell off, and now for whatever reason, I was backed in the corner with very little health left. I wanted to just at least get that damage off from this special 3, even though it's not huge, and because the bleeds are the most kind of where the damage comes from. So I tried to attack in to get as much of the bleed ticks as possible, and thankfully he wasn't throwing his special 3. Unfortunately, we did even get the shrapnel burst, so at least we got that little extra bit of damage. Now, I'm going to show a brief bit of a clip from Apocalypse versus Red Skull, but there is going to be another video specifically with Apocalypse versus Red Skull. And I used Apocalypse because he's rank 4, so he has more damage, higher health pool. We did heal up a bit for him as well. He can take some block damage, okay, and he can easily heavy counter the special 1, which is what I did to build up my own power. And then when I had enough power to throw off my special attack, then I would worry about pushing him up sometimes to 2 bars of power, but at least over 1 bar of power. But this way I was able to take less block damage, allowing me to survive longer and overall get more damage throughout the fight. And you can see 1 dex back from that special 1. As soon as he dashes in from the special 1, then I was able to dex back 1 time and heavy counter. Now here we're getting some nice damage while he's over 2 bars of power. Look at that burst. And so I was able to, slog through it a little bit better with Apocalypse than I was with Red Magneto, just because there's so much more to fall into the right place when you're using Red Magneto for this fight. And I felt like it was a little easier to manage everything with Apocalypse because he is a pretty tanky guy, and since he was rank 4, it ended up working better for me. And you know what, let's just watch the rest of this clip and keep it in 1 video rather than 2. Hopefully that's okay. Let me know if you would prefer if you would have preferred this to be 2 separate videos, but hopefully it's easy enough for people. And look at the burst damage scaling up higher and higher. We're hitting 27,000 on the burst from each of those hits now. And so I feel like I wish I had just gone to Apocalypse a lot sooner. I think that I would have saved revives focusing on Apocalypse rather than struggling through with Red Magneto. But it is what it is. Now we're hitting 29,000 on those bursts, which is insane. It's crazy. Also, Apocalypse fully ignores evade at this point because we have shut off the evade after triggering it enough times. And yeah, Apocalypse really surprised me on my Abyss run. It's probably because he's rank 4. Everyone else is either rank 2 or 3. And so, he just is able to push through fights a little bit easier because of his higher rank, higher attack pool, higher health pool. Look at that, 33, almost 34,000 burst damage from every hit on that special one. Again, we're intentionally pushing him just over 2 bars of power as we throw our special attack. And we're cycling special ones, occasionally throwing it when he only has 1 bar of power. But like here again, using our combo to get him just over 2 bars and then throwing that special 3, 36,000 burst damage on those hits. I'm really glad that I decided to rank 4 Apocalypse for this run. He really came through for me in a lot of fights and was very surprising. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video.